Once you've played Dark Souls or even Bloodborne, there's no going back. Suddenly, no other genre gives you the same rush, that same feeling of satisfaction. Fortunately, there are a number of upcoming Souls-like titles that cater to that and hopefully delay your next no-death hitless run. Let's take a look at 15 of these titles here. Elden Ring. Elden Ring was announced at E3 2019 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, though rumors had been circulating for a while. Outrageous as it may have seemed at first, it was true. Game of Thrones writer George R.R. Martin was teaming up with Dark Souls director Hidetaka Miyazaki. Though we're unsure about the Norse setting behind it, Elden Ring is considered a natural evolution of Dark Souls. It'll also have a more open world and elements like riding around and fighting on horseback. Expect more details in the coming months, especially with a private showing announced for Gamescom. Nioh 2. Team Ninja surprised us last year when it confirmed that its hit action RPG Nioh would be getting a sequel. Make no mistake, Nioh 2 is very similar to its predecessor in look and feel, so you're still battling yokai, dodging and recharging ki, and executing sick combos. The differences this time include yokai forms and attacks, new abilities, and creating one's own character. Nioh 2 will be coming to PS4 and PC, though no release window has been announced. Code Vein. Thankfully, one Souls title that is coming very soon is Bandai Namco's Code Vein. Originally slated to release in 2018, the action RPG was delayed and kept under wraps until its re-reveal this year. Set in a post-apocalyptic future, players have vampiric abilities and a companion to face all manners of horrors. The Souls-like feel is definitely there, what with the dodging, stamina, and world traversal, but that atmosphere of ruined beauty is also intact. Code Vein is out on September 27 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. The Surge 2. Rogue machines are swarming, security is tight, and nowhere is safe. The Surge 2 takes place right after the original, except you're creating your own character this time. The dismemberment-heavy combat is still in place, but meaningful changes have been made to the environment with alternate routes and secrets. More customization, especially with combat drones and leaving messages for other players, are also confirmed. The Surge 2 is out on September 24 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Lords of the Fallen 2. The original Lords of the Fallen presented an intriguing, if clunky, Souls-like combat loop. While it was nothing incredible, we remained hopeful about the sequel. Unfortunately, after skipping over the original developer Deck 13, dropping its first development team, and then hiring Defiant Studios only to drop them as well, we're not sure when CI Games will release Lords of the Fallen 2. Still, it's out there and hopefully shaping up into something fun. HELLPOINT. Cradle Games' HELLPOINT isn't your typical Dark Souls clone. In fact, aside from the combat, it adds some interesting new things like becoming more proficient with a weapon the longer it's used, split-screen multiplayer, levels that change more and more with each death and whatnot. Even the story, where a quantum cataclysm has caused multiverses to collide, resulting in numerous chaotic events, is intriguing. HELLPOINT is out in early 2020, so there's still time to see how it shapes up, but so far, so good. Iter. Utilizing pixel art graphics and an isometric perspective, Iter is about a shield maiden whose fate is altered by Loki. Yggdrasil is also in peril, so it's up to the maiden to venture out and discover her purpose. The shield maiden can block, dodge, and strike decisively, not unlike your average Souls-like. Some interesting twists include opting for level upgrades or perks through the favor system and randomly generated loot, the latter coming in handy since your equipment deteriorates on death. Iter has been in development for years, but there's sadly no release date yet. DUNGEONHAVEN. Developed by Cold War Studios, which comprises only 2 people, DUNGEONHAVEN offers an interesting spin on its storytelling. After the Earth Core brings a knight back from stone, it directs him to drain the cores from other dungeons. To what purpose? We're not sure, but the environments look stunning. There are numerous secrets to discover, and the player can even turn to stone for some purpose. DUNGEONHAVEN is scheduled for release this year on PC and consoles. Remnant from the Ashes. Though it focuses more on third-person shooting, Remnant from the Ashes features a ruined world and dodge rolling befitting a Dark Souls title. Developed by Gunfire Games of Darksiders fame, it takes place in a world at war with an interdimensional enemy. Players must travel to other dimensions, fight horrifying monsters, and ultimately scavenge to survive, finding some way to defeat the entity. With 3-player co-op and dynamically generated areas, Remnant from the Ashes is a different take on the Souls-like formula. It's out on August 20 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Decay of Logos. Mixing the exploration and openness of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with the combat of Dark Souls, Decay of Logos' setting takes inspiration from the likes of Tolkien. It sees a girl whose village has been destroyed meeting a strange elk and embarking on a journey to get revenge. Managing your stamina during combat is key as you dodge and strike, and the game is pretty determined to leave you to your own devices. Decay of Logos arrives on August 27 for PS4, while Switch gets it on the 29th. Xbox One and PC players will have to wait until August 30. Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order. So, Respawn Entertainment's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is more like Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Also, it's more linear, despite some Metroidvania-like backtracking, and way more narrative-heavy than a Souls game. Still, combat is looking solid, especially thanks to the myriad of Force abilities. No dismemberment with lightsaber kills, sadly, and the visuals look neat. We'll find out if it lives up to expectations when it releases on November 15 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Back to Ashes. Indid's Back to Ashes looks kitschy, and some environments resemble Dark Souls a little too closely. But the premise is interesting. The player explores various realms, battling all manner of monstrosities to find a way to save their own. Randomly generated items, numerous difficulty levels, and the good old Souls-like atmosphere help it stand out. Now all we need is a release date. Plague Hunter. Akin to titles like Death's Gambit, Plague Hunter takes a side-scrolling approach to its action RPG Souls-like gameplay. The story sees the citizenry going mad with the plague. Naturally, it's your job to hunt the plague monsters down. If that means facing off against giant bosses silhouetted against the dark world, then so be it. Plague Hunter arrives on May 9th, 2020. Warlander. Another 2020 release is Warlander from Clock Drive Games. Players control a resurrected warrior torn between the Old Order and the Techno Order. The aesthetic is dark medieval fantasy, but the combat does have some interesting wrinkles. You can target enemy body parts with precision, lopping off heads and torsos in the process, and it's possible to destroy the environment and bring down wreckage upon foes. Sand is the Soul. Sand is the Soul seems to tick all the right boxes for us. It's a side-scrolling RPG, has an aesthetic that channels Bloodborne and nightmare creatures, and lets you do whatever you want. The game has a branching storyline with 30 possible endings, and allows you to manipulate its systems to your own ends. You could partake in a coup, even taking the throne and ruling with an iron fist. Sand is the Soul is currently on Steam Early Access and slated to release in Q4 2019. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, please hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to switch on the notifications bell icon next to it. That way you'll never miss any of our videos. Thanks for watching.